And we can just dance the night away until we get no more. I'll shake all the hurt away so you can feel and forget who you used to be. For just tonight, could you just dance the night away?
I don't want to make these videos too long, so as far as escorts go, especially with this being a small mission, it's not like it's a plot thing, it's more just for XP and the glory of romance. Like I said, if he gets rejected, I'm gonna be so sad for him. Like, he got so excited, he's like, I want to, like, give her flowers and I want to charm her. I'm gonna be sad if he ends up, like, dropping it. Oh yeah, I need to talk to you. Or I need to go this way for him, don't I? Come on. That lag. Can you guys not? We are literally at the gate. Fine. We'll just deal with them. Let's hope we can... Oh, this is bad. Oh, okay. Sorry, I actually talked to him. I was like, oh my god, what happened? I bumped into him by accident. My bad, my bad. Don't I need a terminal leg for something? I don't know. I think I did it for a mission, and now it drops as a regular drop now. Alright. Come on, man. We're gonna take you to go see your lady. Let's hope she actually likes him. I hope it's kind of like... he's not gonna go over there and get his heart broken. Is there love in the distant air? That's what I want to know. What if it pulls a Clint, where I give the flowers to her and she thinks I'm charming her and not that the scholar got it? That he hired me to go get it for her. What if? That would be messed up. Am I not supposed to escort him here? I guess it's fine. I still need to go in here anyways. Is she outside? She might be outside. Oh, I bumped the wrong thing. Do I go all the way back and get him? I mean, I guess so. I think maybe she's staying outside. I didn't see her staying outside, but doesn't mean that she wasn't. I mean, walking him up there would be a lot easier knowing where everyone is and everything is. Okay. Because I thought he wanted me to walk to him to the city. Yeah. Alright. I'm gonna pause while I do this, and then when we get over there, then we'll unpause it. Okay. We've made it back to the front door. We got Mr. Bright with us. See if we can slip between these two groups. I think we have to let him go in first, is what it is. Because he's on my walk up here, I realized he's a lot slower than the rest of us. So, I have to wait for him to walk through the front doors on his own. Yeah, there you go. Thank you for the help, kindness. Hearts of the Answers will never cease to amaze me. One last thing, could you give me plant specimens for at the exhibition? I must rush off now to have a scholarly discussion, and I don't have room in my bag to carry them. And well, to be honest, I'm shy. Thank you. Maybe meet up. Aww. He wants me to go and give it to her. See, this is the thing. I'm gonna give it to her, and she's gonna think it's from me, and then she's gonna think, "Oh, you're so sweet," and then your gesture is worthless. It means so much more if it comes from you. I'm just saying. Unless she knows, this would be funny. Zed told you to bring me these? Okay, so we did tell her that he said to bring it. He's such a sweetheart. He knows I love the ability for the blooms. The chemical makeup of this particular bloom is magnificent. It's unfortunate that it had to leave. We only had a short time to discuss my research thesis. Oh, so there is a romance going on here. Ooh. Well, if you see him again, please let him know I'm always up for another activity debate. Oh my god. You guys been smooching in the woods? I'm happy for you. Good for you guys. I expect children, and I expect to be marked as your godmother at some point, okay? If I'm not, I will be mad. You hear me? I demand to be godmother. Oh my gosh. Okay, hold up. We have another... it's another, like, mission we're gonna do here. I'm saying, like I said, I'm just saying. I deserve to be godmother, since, especially if there are children to be born. I don't want legal responsibility unless something bad happens. You know. But I definitely want to be that aunt that fattens up and sends them home all sugared up. They become your problem. Okay. It's closer to this way. We'll just teleport here. And then go through. Just easier that way. Okay. I do like this area of the desert, where it's kind of greener, nicer. Still has the desert craziness. Oh. So we have to kill this guy, you say. Let's see about killing the patrol group right in front first. We don't need the extra combat. The extra drama. Okay, now we go take care of them. Get him. Poke him. Poke him with the sharp end of your spear. Thank you very much. Okay. Sorry, I was looking for loot on the ground. Nice. Imagine having to like direct a bunch of knights, and one of them is instead of poking them with like the spear, like the pointed end of the spear, they're poking them with the butt of the spear, the one that's like really like bland and stuff. Imagine that, and then you have to like you're like calling in the back of the mentor, being like, "The other end, Peter." You have to stab him with that end, but I don't want to hurt him. He's the enemy. You have to. But do it. And then he does something petty, like if you don't do it, you don't get brownies for dinner, you know, with your dinner. And then that petty reason it's enough of like, okay, fine. And he does it. Something really small. Thank you so much. I didn't expect you to have to go through such lengths to retrieve my identification kits. As a token of my gratitude, you may keep one of them. They are useful items for adventurers such as you. If you come across any unidentified items, supply, simply use the identification kit on them to uncover any hidden potentials it may possess. Oh, and remember, if you ever need any other kits, you can always purchase one from me or another merchant. Yeah. Thanks for the info. Hugs and kisses. What do you got? Yeah, you're the one that has the shish kebab thing. What about you? What do you have? Hello, I buy and sell runes. You can apply a rune to your armor and receive its inherent bonuses for as long as you wear that piece of armor. Would you like to buy a rune? I have a need of your help. My shipment of ink is late. Okay, 3 days late. I need the ink to craft my runes. Okay, that's fair. And I have customers waiting. These shipments are normally very prompt, so much tardiness worries me. If you could look into what has caused this delay, I would be willing to give you a useful rune in exchange for your services. The shipment usually comes in through planes. Jaren, so they would be a good place to start looking. Okay. I shall see what I can look into. We shall find your goods. Let's go. Sorry, I was making decisions on if there was any more people that looks like they needed missions and stuff. Okay. All the way over there? That's a long way. Okay. You know, while we're walking over there, I had a thought. I've noticed that with Guild Wars 2 and Guild Wars 1, and I've noticed with other games too, so this isn't like a slap at the Guild Wars in general, right? This is just a thing I've noticed about games. Intermediate armor. Intermediate armor is never really used for anything except to get you by, and 90% of the time, most people will skip it. Most people will run around with the crappy armor until they get the good armor, or at least decent armor. Like in Guild Wars 2, for example, you'll run around with the crappy armor, or any makeshift armor that you find. If you've ever seen that meme where, like, or ever heard anyone say, like, you ever had a parent tell you, what are you wearing? You know, it looks like whatever you walked into your closet, whatever stuck to you is what you wore, that kind of thing. That's kind of Guild Wars 2 in a nutshell with gear. I've had guildmates ask, like, what kind of gear to get and everything, and everyone says, are you level 80? And they're like, no. And they're like, wear whatever. Just throw it on you. Put anything that's the highest level you can stick on you, put it on you. But I don't need these stats. Doesn't matter. Because it doesn't matter, right? And in Guild Wars 2, or Guild Wars 1, I have been told to not worry about getting gear unless I'm going to go get the max gear. Because there's no point wasting crafting materials on subpar gear, when it's really not that expensive if you go through a campaign, right? As long as you go through a campaign, you do missions, and you level up and everything like that, it's not that bad. Sorry, I wanted to see that thing was actually fighting me, or if it was just existing in my space. It chose violence. That or one of my teammates chose violence, I don't know which. Anyways, but like with Guild Wars, you could buy the intermediate gear, and it's not that big a deal. I did when we first played in when I first did the first expansion, the core game of Guild Wars 1, Prophecy. I'm trying to remember what it was called. I know it was a P word. And it works fine. It's not a big deal. But I also was just like, by the time I got one tune maxed with gear, like that Ranger, I didn't really have to worry about it anymore because I knew where to go. I knew I had access. I could go at any point and get them if I wanted it. That kind of thing, right? And, you know, it doesn't really ruin anything. It just makes it to where I don't have to worry about it. And by the time I went to the first game, or the first, like, expansion, like, I still have a lot more on the core to do, so I'm not really done with that one. But like by the time I did that, I could afford to buy the good gear and everything. But like I've noticed that in a lot of games that middle armor is basically worthless. Oftentimes if a game has the ability to break it, you break it down. If a game has the ability to sell it, you'll sell it. If not, people just throw it away. I kind of think that with games, you should be able to kind of make that medium armor more useful. It either do I have the ink on me? Okay. So did someone die? I think someone died. Someone croaked. There should be a way to try and make that armor useful for longer periods of time, or make it to where gear can be upgraded, right? I think it'd be cool if there was a game where you could start with the basic gear, and slowly you can actually upgrade the gear by ripping parts off the original gear, right? Maybe like you keep the framework for the gear and stuff, but then you can rip off the leather and replace it with chainmail, that kind of thing. So you don't, in order to make the gear better, you just replace different components of it. And it also makes it to where you could theoretically make it more comfortable, or you can make it more custom, because you could also make it to where you can rip certain sections off, right? So for example, having like leather around your waist means that your character can pivot more quickly because there's not a lot of like metal blocking the way. And having chainmail on your head makes it to where you have the ability of visual, being able to see everything, and a little bit lighter material in your face, but you're also having a harder time stabbing you in the head. They can still stab you, it's just harder, right? Versus the helmet, because medieval knight helmets actually had like a little slit, and you could barely see out of it. So it causes visual problems, which makes it to where you can't have as much accuracy. So and then obviously you had the open face helmets, and you had helmets that had the eyes opening, but they had mouth guards and stuff. So there's like different types of helmets, and they'd all have their benefits, right? And you could essentially cannibalize your gear as you start, and start taking different things off and making it look more functional for your character. So if your character is meant to be swift and slick and quick, you might use silk and leather versus using heavy metals, right? That kind of thing. And you could also, in most games, have their fashion statement, so you could replace the fashion stuff with whatever you want, basic game stuff with that. But I think that there'd be interesting if there isn't really, like, you don't necessarily have to make an entire set of gear. You can, but like your first set of gear will be like something you can kind of just strip apart, or you could choose to strip apart. And stripping it apart, part by part, is cheaper than trying to build an entire new set. But you could still do it, and you could sell that gear to other players or to NPCs for profit. So there's benefits in crafting, while also it not being the only way, being it necessary for you as a player to necessarily do that if you want to. That kind of thing. Okay, let me talk to the rune maker. Wash the shore, you say? That isn't good. Not good at all. It looks like I'll need to find another supplier. While here in the rune, here's the rune of Vigor 1, I promised you. To equip the rune, double-click it into your inventory and click on the piece of armor you want to put it on. Once you put a rune on your armor, the only way to get it out is the salvaging armor with an expert or superior salvage kit. A regular salvage kit won't do the trick. It will destroy the armor, but you have a chance to get your rune back. Good luck. Yeah. I know exactly how that works. The very, very Guild Wars thing. I actually do like the salvaging things in this game. It's really fun. Okay. Oh, someone here. Is it you? I think I still have to get stuff for you. What is it that I need from you? I need Iron Tooth Drake. It tastes like chicken. I said much sweeter. Okay, so I think I need to go kill some iron ones in the other area to get rid of it. But first off, we are gonna go here, and we're gonna try and sell some of the stuff. I'm gonna also identify some things, but I'm probably gonna like first do that. I'm not selling the dye. I'm gonna sell the sword because I don't have a kit for it, and it's just a basic sword, so it's not anything crazy. And same thing with the copper shilling. I don't know what the copper shilling is. Is it just salvaging thing? Oh, okay, it's just an item. Okay. We'll leave that alone. Half-sided chest and armor. That's so messed up. Okay. Let's stick this stuff in here. Same with that. Put that in there. That in there. Put raw ingredients in that one. Dancing with Death deals 12% income value of gold. Okay. I don't really care about that. Yeah, give me that. Ooh, I got materials out of it too. Nice. Okay. Yeah, I was pretty sure I'd run out of space there, but I wasn't positive. Okay. Out of mind, out of sight, then I don't have to think about it. Well, I don't want to waste an expert on it, but... It is what it is. And what is this? A flat bow. We'll just sell the flat bow. It isn't anything special. I want some space in my inventory. Okay, so we need to go kill some iron drakes. I'm pretty sure that there's some in this area here. I wonder if it dropped me another petal, another leaf. Okay, fine. Will you drop me another one? I don't know if these fanged ones will drop it. Or if only the beautiful ones will drop it. But XP is XP. Join the XP. I think these guys dropped the seeds. Okay. We're gonna cross the plains and go over to the water. Another thing that could be interesting is I've noticed that, like, okay, for instance, in Guild Wars 2, they have, like, guild halls. I think Guild Wars 1 has guild halls too, but I've noticed that with, like, guild halls and Guild Wars 2, because I have more expertise on it. They have, like, you know, like the scribes hall, and then they have like your world versus world. Then you have your like PvP arena, stuff like that. They have these different stations and things. It surprises me that games like Guild Wars 2 and other games don't have a training arena where the players can go practice their rotations. They have it with I think Raids has like a thing where you can like practice your like rotations on it. Like there's a golem for that. I've never really bothered with it. I would just go and fight strikes and see if I was swinging hard enough to hit numbers and stuff. I'd go and do the Shiver Peak strike because I liked the strike and it gave me credit and I got more rewards, and then I could still see my numbers, even though it's not as accurate. But it's good enough for me. Anyways, I was gonna say, I'm surprised that there isn't a mechanic for guild halls where players could go and practice rotations, and you get XP for it. It's a much slower way of getting XP, but it's still XP. And by doing that, you would level up, and if you did, and if you sit there just hit it with number 1 and do a little bit of XP, but it's very, very little. But if you do proper rotations, you'll get a lot of XP, or relatively fair XP. This might be really good because there's some awkward phases in leveling in Guild Wars 1 or Guild Wars 2. That's kind of like I've noticed there's an awkward phase between level 60 and level 70. Alright? There's that awkward phase where you kind of like, I don't know how to explain it really. it feels like you're not strong enough to take on big stuff, but you're also not strong enough, you're not weak enough to be farming things at your level. And a lot of level 60 maps just don't feel grindy enough. I'm probably just not going to the right maps, but I know there's some awkward phases there. There's an awkward phase, I think, between level 20 and 30. If not level 20 and 30, then it's level 30 and 40, all the way to 50. But my point is, there's like awkward phases where you are trying to grind for these to get better levels, but you're just not growing fast enough. And the maps that have the levels that that is your level is really not as enjoyable. But I think it'd be interesting if in those awkward phases, and in most games you have awkward levelings or awkward phases where you kind of jump. There's a little bit of a spike in level, like increasing, even like great games like Skyrim and stuff. So it's not like it's not a slight to Guild Wars 2 or Guild Wars 1. But my point that I'm trying to get at is that spike or that little awkward phase could be kind of diluted a little bit or lessened in frustrations if you could go practice your rotations in the guild hall, or do like missions involving going and killing certain things, or doing bounties, doing open world bounties and stuff. Not just bounties necessarily in the desert, but like go kill this veteran in this area. I honestly feel like Guild Wars 2 has a lot of veterans, like veteran enemies. There should be a mission board that you can take to go do those missions. And the reason for this is two very good reasons. You're going to need to know where a lot of those vets are, just for the sake of loots, drops, certain missions and things. Sometimes certain enemies drop more of something. Veterans drop like better blood, stuff like that. This helps train players to, know what certain vets drop, and to encourage them to want to fight them, because veterans are intimidating when you first start out. Also, teaching them by having you do rotations to get XP, players are actually getting a swing of what their rotations look like. So common players who aren't hardcore, don't have a lot of time to spend hours in a game, have a chance to be like, okay, so if I swing my bat after I did use this boon here, I will hit harder. Okay, if I swing this weapon and then use this skill, I will stun lock the enemy. Okay, cool. It makes it a lot easier. I had a lot easier time when my guildmates pointed out what I was doing during strikes and raids, where the teacher was like, or the mentor was like, hey, yeah, that's why you do this, that's why you poke it with this, you smack it with your hammer, then you turn around and run for your life, I'm a hands-on person, and it makes it a lot easier when you're trying to do it. And granted, currently I'm kind of mindlessly just doing stuff, so I'm not really paying attention, but it's a lot easier when you can like see what you're doing by actually doing it. And the same with Guild Wars 2. I could read all day long about what the skills do and everything like that, but it's not the same thing as actually trying to use your skills and smack something, and then it's like, okay, cool, so that's what it does, right? Because I think that there should be like a training arena, and there should be like a board with bounties on it that players can do that are age appropriate. Also, another thing too is if you take a lower level bounty, like if you go take a level 30 bounty, you're not going to get as much rewards out of it as if you take something that's equal your level. That kind of thing. So you can have level 80 bounties and stuff like that. And so bounties wouldn't even just necessarily be go kill something. It could be like go gather this resource, bring it back. Or it could be something along the lines of, I think there's another one over here of an iron scale. It could be something like sorry, I was reading at it. It could be something like, go harvest these resources, go craft this food, go grab this item, this kind of thing. Go murder this veteran, that kind of thing. It doesn't have to necessarily be murdering things. Go farm potatoes, that kind of thing. I really feel like games like Guild Wars 1 and 2 Guild Wars 2 specifically. Guild Wars 1's probably fine. Guild Wars 2 would definitely benefit from having small missions that players between level 60 and below can do. Because technically at level 70, you can go do a level 80 thing if you have friends. If you've got friends that like you, then it's really something you could do. I knew there was a song here. Then you have you have someone you can kind of do a mission with, and therefore you have ways to get XP and stuff. But those low, and don't be wrong, some people don't like the maps clearing. I don't personally care, but that's a me thing. I have my days where I don't want to do it either. And having the ability to be able to train your skills versus just going and clearing maps and stuff makes it to where players are more likely to enjoy the game. Because then they'll be like, okay, cool, we can enjoy the game and do all the fun stuff. And then also, and you're also still training them because combat is a very big part of Guild Wars 2. Do we have any more iron drakes? Drop some iron scale, please. Okay. Sorry, I'm checking inventory, see if we got anything that we need. So we need like salad and stuff. I didn't find anything. I may have to go. Maybe there's a different map that has more iron scales on them. There's a lot of bogeys. I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna try and fight these creatures over here. Have we went over here? Yes, we have. We went over here. I want to see if we can get more leaf. I think we need to get one more of their leaves. Also, you know, XP and all. Potentially gold, too. Some inscription stuff. That's not bad. Bronze scythe. Oh, heck yeah. Let me see that. Okay. There we go. I do like that you can change out your weapon during fights. In Guild Wars 2, you can't do that. You can't change out your gear or swap stuff once you've started combat. To be fair, it's probably so people don't cheese it. Ooh, gold. Ooh, piece of candy. More piece of candy. My brain just says it whenever when I find sweets and stuff. I found a cane. Why do you have a cane? Why did you eat a cane? Doesn't that cause like digestion issues? Okay, we're gonna go into the city here and we'll try this mission again at some point. Hello, by the way. Alright, we're gonna move on to the next game, which is gonna be Skyrim.